Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to M Cubed with a little bit of sidetrack over here. I mean,
Hello.
like half a sidetrack over here, you know?
Half a sidetrack. No, I am sidetrack.
You
lot
are the
are
sidetrack.
just interlopers that think.
We're the secondary and the auxiliary.
I like that.
You get the side, and we're like just trekking along.
Yeah, I can live with that.
That
I'm your
works.
supreme leader. As long as I'm the supreme leader, we're good. We're good.
You are our Snoke for now. We just won't cut you in half in the middle of the sequels. Don't worry. We'll plan it out and make you a cool character. You're actually Plagueis. Don't worry. But welcome back to Movie Tuesday. This was supposed to be Movie News Monday yesterday, but I was in Hollywood working out some stuff. Hopefully some cool stuff for the future that I can keep you all posted on. But we're adding it into Movie Tuesday today. And we are going to talk about, we've got one big article to cover. We're going to read it, and then we will discuss while we're reading it and post reading it. And it's going to be about the box office highs and lows of the summer. The summer of 23 instead of 69, of course. We've got some of the best movies that we've had the past decade, I guess, this year. And not in the past decade. The past half decade is probably a better way of saying that. And we've had some of the worst ones. And I think that's shown in the box office. We've had some really good and really bad box office times. And, you know?
Let me think about what films we've had in the last 5 years. 2 years. That was COVID, though. So, yeah, you're probably not wrong, actually.
Yeah. The only other, like, heavy hitters from the last 5 years, I think, would have been, like, 2019, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Avengers Endgame, that kind of, like, That summer was our last big blockbuster kind of summer.
Yeah. That's some of the top, like say Top Gun was supposed to come out sort of towards the end of that summer, and then it came out 3 years after. No, yeah, when you've got a 2-year gap because of COVID, fair enough.
There's a lot going on, but all right, let's roll this intro. Let's get moving. And because I always forget to do the spiel until the very end, or just in general and entirely, Matt has done me a very good thing. There we go. I thought it wasn't going for a second. I don't know because there's no sound if y'all can still hear me because I'm still talking.
Yes, no, I could still hear you.
Okay, good. I was like, I know there's no sound to that one, so we'll keep talking over it. But because I forget the spiel, there we go.
You've got to do the spiel, but it's frustrating. So I like doing that. I've stopped doing that on Sidetrack now. I've just got the little thing. I put it in the corner, so it just says Sidetrack, like, subscribe, boom, and then I do it at the end. I've got a bit that I've got now, word for word. I can do it at the end now. I have dreams sometimes when I wake up, sort of going, if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe. Oh,
your wife's like, go back to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Calm down. Shut up. I've already liked and subscribed. You idiot.
I've done this. Howdy, David. Howdy, Mark. Thank y'all for being here. I think Laura's here or just kind of hanging out, but she gave us a thumbs up nonetheless. So she's already done all my spiel for me. So thank you. Thank you. Before we jump in, have you seen anything since Sunday that was worth talking about?
Right. The second series of Wheel of Time has come out.
Yeah. Oh, you said you started it.
So I thought, I'm going to watch the first season of Wheel of Time, damn it. People keep telling me it's rubbish and it can't be. It's wokeists keep telling me. Wokeists are idiots. No, they're bang on. It's awful. So I literally watched about maybe 30 minutes and then I put Stargate Atlantis on instead. Had a whale of, I'm much happier now. This is much better. It's just
so much better. It does the fantasy better and it does the sci-fi better.
It's just like written badly. It wasn't. It obviously had a lot of money spent on it because like the cinema standards, but it was just bad. And it was like, men are stupid, women are awesome, and I'm like, I'm assuming that didn't carry on, but there was a lot of that's for women only, and I'm just like, where's this going? So, but it was more just the way it was. The way it was written, I just thought I can't do that. Fuck this. So I turned it off.
I'm intrigued by it because I'd like to read the books because it's supposed to be an amazing book series.
Apparently, the series is nothing like the books. Everyone, so I've had loads of comments on it since saying actually the books are really great, and that's why we hate this so much because they've just changed so much. I mean, it's almost unrecognizable. I mean, people complained about that with the Foundation, but I've had to point out
that's done with taste.
Well, they had a lot of change in the Foundation just because the Foundation would be impossible to turn into a TV series. It would be impossible. So
you could do it, but you'd have to hire different actors every single episode. You couldn't actually get into it.
Would be impossible, practically impossible. So they've thought of some very clever ways, like the genetic, Dawn,
the Clone Dynasty,
Dawn Lunch and Tea Time Kings. That's something like that. So they've come up with some really clever solutions for it to get around it. But the plot, the story, the tone of it, I think they did beautifully. But they've made some quite big changes though to make it practical. Apparently with Wheel of Time, some people just said, look, it's the title and there's some very general plot points, but other than that, it's completely different. But I'm not going to find out because I'm not watching that crap. It did not tickle my anything. I was like, So
I love Rosamund Pike, but I didn't watch it.
I love her as well. She's great. She's pretty lady. She's proper like English Rose beautiful. If you know what I mean. She's like, and she's a very, very good actress.
She's a phenomenal actress. And she's gorgeous.
Not for me.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big fan of her, which made me want to watch it, but I heard literally everything you said just a second ago. I feel like as that first season was coming out, and I'm just like, well, both all of that doesn't look good and doesn't make me want to watch it. And then I tried to watch the first season of Carnival Row, and I know you said you liked Carnival Row.
I really enjoyed Carnival Row. I really liked it.
I couldn't get past the first 2 episodes.
Plow through. I agree with you. First 2 or 3 episodes, because there's a lot setting up going on. It gets better, but the second season, I watched it because I had to get to the end. It isn't as good. There was a big gap between season 1 and 2 thanks to COVID, and then at some point they decided we're not doing a third, so they sort of forced an ending that I don't think was planned. An ending, but you just know that I think I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be at very least another season on top of this, because this is very rapid and stuff happens very quickly. Stuff is set up that then just isn't like, you don't get a proper a war is basically brewing and it doesn't really happen. It's beautifully made. It's really beautifully made.
It looked gorgeous. That's what made me so excited about it whenever it first came out, because I was there that first day watching those first episodes and I just never watched it again. It just kind of dropped off.
Give it another go. Honestly, the last couple of episodes, particularly the first season, are properly good. Really good. But there is, and you love a slow burn. You always tell me how much you love
I do. I was literally just thinking about that as I was saying it. I was like, I feel like such a hypocrite because Star Wars is the TV shows tend to be slow burns, and I adore the TV shows. Ahsoka is a bit of a slow burn at the moment. Rebels begins as a slow burn. One of my really good friends that did the Getaway movie with me, he was just texting me because I just got him to watch Rebels, and the dude, I think, just got shoulder surgery or something from the collarbone to the shoulders. It's one of those ligaments, something like that. And he's had like half a week of no work and nothing like that, just kind of bed rest, and he's just binged all of Rebels. He was like, the entire season 1, he was like, dude, this is decent. Like it's kind of like the first 2 seasons of Clone Wars, but when's it pick up? When's it pick up? The second season 2 or the second season 1 ended, and I guess season 2 popped in. He's gung ho, and he just texted me like, "This is literally some of the best Star Wars pound for pound." Like you keep saying,
this is not going to calm down. This is going to calm up. Damn it!
Damn right. And Star Wars does great about that. So I do kind of feel bad after saying that aloud and hearing myself say it. Was like, all right, I should just watch past the first couple episodes.
Me and the wife got past, because my wife really liked the Cara Delevingne, is that her name?
Cara Delevingne,
Browse lady, who is also very pretty. So
is she good in Carnival Row?
She's actually good. She actually is pretty good in it. Orlando Bloom, who I'm not the biggest fan of, is I think really good in it. I think that's the sort of role he should be playing. And honestly, I reckon you get third or fourth season, the third or fourth episode, shit starts to go down, and I think you'll enjoy it more. And there's a big monster at the end, which actually is a pretty good battle, and a couple of big twists. And I really enjoyed Carnival Row in the end. But like I say, the second season, it suffers because they obviously decided this was going to be it, and it's a shame because it's deserved a bit more. And I think if another tragic loss thanks to COVID that we didn't get that, because I think it really would have been a really excellent third, fourth season, because there's a story there they're trying to tell. They couldn't quite do it, but yeah, it's still good.
I feel similarly about. Did you watch and or finish His Dark Materials on HBO Max or Max now? Or whatever?
Couldn't be asked. Well, it's on the BBC here, so because it was made by the BBC. But my lad loves the books. We tried to watch it and he couldn't be asked with it. And to be honest, I think that was another one though, that it got a massive gap because of COVID. And then when it came back, we didn't really notice, because I don't really watch the BBC a great deal.
Yeah, that was
we didn't really know it was on and missed it.
It ended with season 3, and I feel like the second half of it should have been another season, and they were just kind of forced to finish it quickly.
Yeah, and I think that's a, and it's not just money and stuff, is it? The actors have moved on to other projects and things, so all of a sudden they're asked to come back and do this, and they're like, well, yeah, I can.
They don't have the schedule sometimes.
I can give you 6 months, but that's it, sort of thing. And then I've got other stuff I've got to get on, so like James McAvoy's got a couple of big movies coming up. So, I mean, I just don't think there was we were ready to do this, and now, thanks to COVID, we've got other stuff to do. And I think that was a big problem with Carnival Row, to be honest, because Orlando Bloom signed up to, I can't remember what it is now, but I remember seeing Orlando Bloom had signed up to something massive, and I was like, oh, Jesus, Carnival Row must not be coming back then. And then a couple of months after that, we heard, oh no, Carnival Row, the second season, but that'll be the last one. And I'm like, oh, that's why then, because he's signed up to something else. And but I think that might have been an element of that as well. It's just like nobody had time to do it. And it must be so expensive to have like a 2-year gap of a series like that, and then all of the
rebuild the sets, because they probably had to take the sets down. Like, it's a whole thing.
At least they'd have been in storage. If nothing else, they'd have been taken down and put in storage, maybe. This is one of those things I was talking about, The Expanse, in that video I did a couple of days ago, that I kept saying Amcron, and it's not, it's Alcon.
Good video though.
Yes, I enjoyed it. But a couple of people have gone, well, get the name right. And I'm like, oh, come on. I hadn't planned to make that video. I just thought as I was driving over, because I'd literally spoken to the guy that was telling me about it the night before. So I thought, oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna do that video and it'll be nice. And but I hadn't got anything written down, so I was just doing it from so that was all from memory. And my memory is awful. But Alcon, they've sold all the Expanse stuff, and the main reason that I've been told is it was costing them a fortune to keep it all in storage. And the way the conversation's going with with Apple, is that they want to do something that looks different anyway. So Alcon went, well, let's make some money then, because we can't keep storing this, and it's costing a fortune. And actually, Alcon are struggling at the moment. They've had a really bad 2 years. They needed this, so they're just like, well, we're going to save money, we're going to make a bit of money, let's just get it done. So do you know any other projects they're doing off the top of your head? I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but they have got a few things they do in partnership. I'm sure they're doing something with Warner Brothers. I'll Google it. Talk about something else while I
But well, I was just given the perfect thing to talk about. Mark just commented that he's been binging What We Do in the Shadows all night and morning while tripping on acid. That show really is quite marvelous. It really is quite marvelous, and I really like your approach on watching it as well. The new season was insane. Did you just finish the new season, by the way? I think it ended, was it last week or with the week? It was last week. It was fantastic. I think they actually went a little more scary and more, I guess, there weren't so many fun antics and silliness going on. There's plenty of silliness and antics. Nandor literally tries to prove that, yes, I'm a vampire and I can fly into space because I don't need to breathe oxygen, which is an amazing episode. And then he comes back down. You just finished season 2? Oh, my friend, you have so much goodness to catch up on. Have you ever seen the movie? The movie from 2015, the little independent film, is fantastic. It is Taika Waititi directed and starred, and it's Taika and Jermaine that are writing. Mostly Jermaine Clement that writes the show. It's one of the best TV shows on television in general right now, and it very well. It's either It's Always Sunny, Only Murders, or What We Do in the Shadows is the best sitcom as well. It's fantastic all around. Literally anybody that hasn't seen it, just go watch it. Just go watch it. So
just on Alcon, they do have the Blade Runner series.
Ooh.
So they're doing the Blade Runner series. They did the Blade Runner Black Lotus.
The anime. I still need to watch that.
They've got Blade Runner 2099, and they've got a couple of movies. I've never heard of it. No Manches, Frida 2, Frida 3. And apparently they're doing a Garfield movie as well.
Oh, God. That could be good or bad. That could be good or bad.
No, that'll be a live action with... He's a guy that played the... he played... Never mind. Forget it. It'll be with some crap actor that we don't like anyway. But,
oh, God. Well...
the Blade Runner series is big for them. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I hope it gets more eyes on it, because 2099 is going to be live action, right? Or is that also animated?
Chris Pratt's in it. Chris Pratt, Samuel L. Jackson, Nicholas Hoult, a few others. I can't see if it's animated or not. CG animation. It's a CG animated movie.
Okay. Okay, I can get on with that. Interesting. Well, I'll have to do some stuff on Incube about that. We might talk a little bit about Blade Runner as that's coming out or something on Sidetrack. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll look at it. I've heard a couple of rumors about it, but to be honest, I'm not particularly interested. I only talk about stuff I'm interested in, and I don't like Blade Runner.
See, I love Blade Runner, but it's one of those things that, like, it's huge. It's going to be super well made. It's going to be well done. Most people that watch it will probably enjoy it. But that's the thing, is how many people are going to actually put their eyeballs on it. And it's one of those things that I feel like people watch over the years more so than as it's coming out. And that's just kind of what Blade Runner was and always has been.
I tried to watch 2049. I couldn't watch it.
I love it.
I think I got about halfway through, and I just thought, when your mind wanders and you pick up your phone, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, now I don't know what's happening. And it's just like, and he turned up and actually met and actually bumped into Harrison Ford's character, and I'm just like, oh, I have no clue. I just lost that, so I just turned it off. I have no clue. But I've got to watch because my lad has read the book that the first movie's based on. And the idea being that we're going to do a video where I'm going to watch the film and talk about it, and he's going to talk about the book.
The dream, or a dream for Electric Sheep, or a dream of Electric Sheep.
Philip K. Dick, I believe is right. So so we're gonna try to, because I've not read the book, but he's not seen the film, so it might be an interesting when we ever get around to doing it.
Hey, I will watch that video the second it airs. I'll watch it on Patreon before it airs, and then I'll watch it again as it gets on YouTube.
Damn right. And then watch it on loop, because no one else will watch it. So that's gonna
I'll help boost the Blade Runner numbers as much as I can, just so we got something. Blade Runner is awesome. Blade Runner 2049 is crap, David. And the book is rubbish, Peter. What is going on?
They're my people. Now, Dave agrees with me all the time, so that's probably the first thing me and Dave have ever agreed on.
That's great. My brain, I just had something about Blade Runner I wanted to say, and I think I went in 3 or 4 different directions, and I lost the main focus there. Just real quick, Philip K. Dick did write Blade Runner. Yesterday, I made while I was in Hollywood, I wasn't trying to be all fancy or anything, but I got an encyclopedia up in this brain full of information, and I was talking about His Dark Materials, which is what made me think about that, and I said Bill Pullman instead of Philip Pullman writing it, and the guy that it was Chambers, the guy that I interviewed before Greg on the channel. And Chambers was just like, you mean Philip Pullman, Bill Pullman? I was like, Bill Pullman's the president of Independence Day. Like I'm good. And his son was in Top Gun Maverick, and I was just quick little story, but that's where my brain went to.
I'm not going to ever raise it. I make mistakes all the time because your brain goes in funny places.
Yeah.
I used to really stress me out if I made a mistake in a video. Now I just think I'm going to get loads of comments correcting me. that's going to improve my algorithm.
See, I like that. I'm pretty damn ADD if y'all have never noticed. But the thing that gets me is I'm just a touch OCD. So I'm like, I got to correct myself, and like my brain doesn't figure it out unless I put it back on path, you know?
I don't like making mistakes. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I don't like making mistakes. So I have to admit, it does wind me up. It used to really wind me up. But now I just think, you know what? It's up to you guys. I can either make 4 videos a week, but there will be mistakes and there won't be loads of add-ons and things. But I'm getting the information to you or getting my opinion out to you, and I get as much content out as I can. Or I can make 1 video a week that'll be perfect. It's not what we do on Sidetrack. So if you want that, go watch the Popcast Brothers or something, because to make the money, we'll have to get sponsors and everything. And we've sort of looked at, we keep getting asked to do sponsorships, and I keep saying no.
Well, I like your it should be a sponsorship that makes sense kind of deal, because Temu would be fun and stuff, but like,
if something sci-fi comes and says we'd love to sponsor and love you to talk video on, and it was something I thought, yeah, that's a good product, I'd be like, yeah. But then that, like I say, that app Temu keep bugging me, and they've emailed me 2 or 3 times now asking me to do a video for them, and I'm like, what is the connection? For one, you're not a product I would use.
Yeah.
Manchester United phoned me up and said you'd like to do a sponsorship deal. I will go, I will do that crap for free.
Yes, please. So what about Manchester City?
No, they'd have to pay me a lot.
So what happens if M Cubed gets sponsored by Manchester City?
Then you won't be allowed on Sidetrack again, and I would have to cut all ties with you.
Okay, well, I get a team.
Pay you a crap load of money and you buy me something pretty. In which case, I will forgive a lot.
I'll get you a half jersey that's half City, half United.
No, buy me something shiny like a watch or something.
Oh, it'll be shiny, and it'll have a watch built in.
You're just rubbing salt. An Iron Man watch built in. You're just rubbing salt into the wound, you little shit. No, I want something shiny, or plane tickets to California, and I'll come and see you, and then I can
do that, and I'll cook for you for a week, or I'll get you a tiara. That's shiny.
Cover up. Distract from it. No, attract attention to the baldness. You bastard.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. No one cares about mistakes anymore. I saw that, but Peter also just said one of my friends used to work on Sky News. When a mistake was made, she'd just say, "It's gone to Mars." I like that. I like that a lot.
Peter told me about another mistake. Said, "I don't stress it." I made a spelling mistake on the thing. They went, "I really don't worry about it. Don't know." But I think it was Peter who told me, look at each word rather than looking at the sentence, because our brains don't look at the sentence very well. So break it down when you're checking your titles, but word by word, and you're more likely to actually. I'm like, yes, I've started doing that, but I'm horribly dyslexic. I'm terrible.
That might not help.
People will tell me that your grammar's wrong. Your grammar's rubbish, and I'll look at the sentence going, looks fine to me.
Great. What do you mean?
Hang on, bro. Let's move on from that shit. I don't care. But
that was Peter. He said that was.
Yeah, I thought it might have been. Thank you, Peter. It's actually a really, really good tip. So I've started doing
that. Mark wants more health and safety guy.
You will get health and safety guy very soon, and you will be getting a response because Harris did get the job. So we will be getting the only issue is those videos take a long time to do. They take much longer than a normal video, and we've had a few tips about some stuff that's going on, so I just haven't had time to and I was on holiday for 2 weeks and else. So I think we'll get a health and safety guy, or the interview video will be next week. So but Harris, you did get the job. Congratulations, sir. So
we're going to Stargate Command.
Oh yes, so you're going to be doing your induction and reacting to your induction video, which I'm quite looking forward to, but I need to write it. But yeah, they take forever. So they don't take forever. They take
it's more planning out. You got to script it out. It's a whole thing. Script it out to a degree, but still.
I would say doing a normal video takes maybe 2 hours. Doing one of those videos takes half a day. So it takes a lot longer. And you've got to have something to do as well. And the thing is as well, there's only so many jokes, health and safety guy, and I've kind of done them. So I've got it, and then it's thinking of like a different joke, just like you can't keep doing the same.
It's reinventing the wheel as much as you can.
Yeah, and I'm not that funny. So it's so I've kind of done the jokes. So that's why the induction should be good, and it's going to be your reaction to the induction. So that'll be a laugh. And then there's going to be a health and safety guy Atlantis video.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'll be really fun. I loved your Atlantis video on your cruise. Great.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit of silliness for members and things. But the other thing is with the health and safety guy videos, though, is they're a lot of fun to do, and you guys love them, but they don't get a lot of views.
Aye.
So there is also an element, though, of I try to do stuff that I want to do. So if I want to do something, and I think you guys will like it, I'll do it, and the views come second. But I now do work. I only work 4 days a week, so the show does have to make money.
Yes.
So the videos do have to make money to a degree. I am going to do health and safety guy on other shows eventually. So I will do a health and safety guy Star Trek video at some point. And I'm also going to do a couple of different things because I've got a video coming out this week actually that you're going to meet health and safety guy's cousin. What's he called? Like the voiceover guy. So he's doing the voiceover for a Stargate movie advert. So it's health and safety guy's cousin and voiceover guy. So you're going to get that next week, then on Friday probably.
I like it. We how about an SGU health and safety guy? They have to communicate through the rocks.
I'd be tempted just to do that going. Just do that throughout the entire video. But yeah, probably will be a health and safety guy. Or I quite like doing the HR guy and things like that though. I think they're a bit fun as well. And we'll think of some other guy video. I thought about like janitor guy as well, like after like the replicators attack, and there's just like the nanite dust everywhere, and it's like, oh, for God's sake, it's everywhere.
Locked in a closet after couldn't get out of the closet, tried to avoid the replicators or something, just in his little janitor unit, just clutching his mop.
Looking forward to doing your induction video. I'm going to say, so as a new employee, I was thinking about like the I haven't written it yet, but like the red shirt thing in Star Trek.
Yeah,
there's a similar thing in Stargate. Basically, if you're a background character and you haven't said anything by about a third the way through the show, you're in trouble. Or you have said something and you're quite likable, but then you don't really say anything else, you're in trouble. So I've got to figure out how to write that into that. Just make sure you say enough to be interesting, but not too interesting, because if you don't say anything, you're probably going to die. And if you're too interesting, you're probably going to die. So I've got to figure out how to write that though. But
okay.
That's all going to be in the induction, but then you've got to react to it sort of going, what? What are you talking about?
Okay.
And how giant metal spiders will kill you, but only off screen. And you're like, what? Off what now? And just we'll have a laugh.
Screen.
Yeah, only off screen.
We got wear a collar. Like a collared shirt or an actual collar. We got to specify. Sometimes typing isn't as good as talking. It doesn't get across.
You should wear a shirt and tie for your induction, sir. Best induction I ever went to, right? And then we need to start talking about this movie thing because I haven't got all night. Damn it, Harris, taking up all night. We're not talking for 2 hours again, sir.
We shall game for 2 hours later.
Best induction I ever went to, right? It was for an insurance job, so I was like in my shirt and tie. And God, I hated this job. A year after I got the job, I got called into my manager's office and she said, "You don't like working here, do you?" And I went, "No, I'll get my coat." And I literally just walked out. I hated it. I used to just wander around flirting with girls. It was terrible. But anyway.
And that worked, though? It was just kind of like, all right, we're letting you go right then and there?
Yeah, they didn't want to fire me because it's quite hard to sack somebody. And I'd not done anything that was sackable. I just hadn't done any work. But I hadn't done anything wrong. I'd done the bare minimum. So she was just sort of saying, like, I think she wanted me to sort of go, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll really knuckle down. I'm sorry," but I didn't. I just went, "Yeah, I hate this job. I'm going to go." So I just went, "It's just for the best in it." And she went, "Yeah, okay. If you want to go, just go." Right. I just left. But anyway, I was at the induction, and they said, "Right, we're going to go around the room because there's about 30 of us in there." And said, "I just want to tell us something about yourself." what was your job before this? And just something, that's interesting about you. And she went, and she's like the HR lady, and she's, and I'll start. My name's Maria. I've worked for this company for the last 5 years, and I really like water sports. And then sat down, and I just went, she likes water sports. She's like, psst, the golden showers. And I'm looking around there going, water sports, people, come on. I'm like,
nobody.
Yeah, she likes like jet skis and stuff. No, water sport. She likes being, no, come on. I was the only one giggling. So that's when I realized I'm a complete child.
That's in this moment I realized
I'm a complete child. But always the funniest. As she got round to me, and I'm like, yeah, my name's Jamie. I'm new to the thing. Before this, I worked on blah blah blah, and I really like it when women poo on me. Next, but no, I thought best not.
My brain just goes right to movie 43. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but one of the worst movies ever made.
I should have said, my name's Jamie. I like butt plugs or something, that seems to be the general consensus in most of our videos recently.
Apparently, people are big fans of butt plugs around the world.
On this channel, anyway. I don't know. I think that says more about our audience than it says about us. Or possibly the way around, possibly, because we brought it up. So I can't really blame
we brought it up for comical reasons.
Yes, it was very funny.
And now it's just...
It's gone too far.
Gone too far where?
Anyway.
Real quick though, I remembered what I forgot. The thing that would have made 2049 better, although I do enjoy it, the character that Jared Leto was playing, the villain. It was supposed to be David Bowie before he passed.
Oh, that would have been awesome. I'd have watched it then.
And that would have been dope. That's where my brain just forgot about that for a little bit. Brain fart for the day, right there.
Phenomenal.
We made up for it.
Talking about remaking Labyrinth, I'm just like, don't bother, because all anyone's going to say is that's not David Bowie all the way through. That's all they're going to say.
If we got the Willowed version of Labyrinth, I would be so sad. The Willow series just.
If they don't get Jim Henson involved or Jim Henson's company involved, which they might not, because that company might not even exist in 6 months. It's not going well. Brian Henson's not. They're struggling. They've got a few other things, but they've had a few failed experiments. But if they, if they don't get that involved, and if even then they can't, it won't work because everyone's just going to go, look, we only love this film because of David Bowie. So it's not going to work. Even though Thingy Connolly, who was in it, still looks pretty much the same. So she could just play it and like be a sequel, like 2 years later, and we'd be going, yeah, a bit wrinkly under the eyes. She just looks tired. Other than that,
not as well.
Exactly the same.
I do love Labyrinth, though. I haven't seen that movie in way too long. I need to watch it again. Mark said he was talking about a collared shirt, but he does happily wears a collar around. Interesting. Interesting. People have fun hobbies nowadays. How about a meeting between the health and safety guys for SGU and SGA and SG1, each trying to one-up each other for who has the hardest job? Oh, that's kind of funny. I like that idea.
We're already talking about how hard it is to film these things. That's going to be so hard. But okay, I'll give it a go. I'll write it down. I'll have to do the SG1 and SGA health and safety guys first, and then having an argument. Okay, I'll put it on my list.
I like that a lot. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because you are going to have to. I mean, that's going to be playing against yourself, so you have to be responding yourself. Yeah. You're going to be TikToking like all of us youngins nowadays.
I'll just make it a relatively short video so that it's not too impossible to make. But like I said, arguing who's got the worst job, who's got it worse off. I like that
idea. Real quick before we dive into this article, though, Only Murders in the Building. I watched the new episode last night. It was fantastic. It was really, really, really well done. No
spoilers. I haven't watched it
yet. No spoilers. But it was great. Besides that, the new Futurama episode was all right. It was it's not hitting me where I want it to hit, but it's there. I think that's all I've seen this week besides the What We Do in the Shadows stuff. And if you haven't watched it, What We Do in the Shadows
is not anywhere over here. I need to find it. I keep forgetting to look it up, to be honest.
It's on Hulu and FX here, so I don't know if it would be on Sky because FX was part of Fox and Sky is the UK's Fox.
We have got a Fox channel. Is it on Disney Plus?
Well, it would either be on Disney Plus or it would be on Fox for y'all. One of the two. Not sure. But to dive into this article, it's going to be a decently linked article. So we'll be reading it and we'll be reacting to it as it goes on. But we're going to be talking about the highs and the lows of the box office summer of 2023. There you go. Wear different shirts for the different guys. That might be a good idea.
Take my glasses off and put a hat on, and I'll do that. So I just got to remember to do something different for when I do Stargate Atlantis guy. But yeah, I can do that.
Also been watching Bosch season 4 and Yellowstone season 1. Atta-way. David goes through some stuff. Atta-way, man. How's Yellowstone?
Yellowstone's really good.
Really? I've been wanting to watch it, but I've also just been hesitant about watching it at the same time. Kevin Costner just had some stuff today come out about that.
Because he's retired. I just thought the SGU guy will have to be talking through the stones, won't he? So I'm gonna that'll complicate things as well.
Or he'll be at SGC, he'll be at command, and he's talking to them through the stones there, making sure they're doing the right stuff.
Yeah, I'll figure that out. Sounds fun. Be fun.
But all right, shall we dive into this?
Yeah.
Let us do it. All right, so box office, warning signs amid summer's big highs. Studios banked on their big budget franchise sequels to revive theatrical. But it was fresh and original fare led by Barbie and Oppenheimer that powered domestic revenue past $4 billion. So, just before we dive in, just the mental notes that I guess that we're on at the moment are we've seen some of the best films this year monetarily that we've seen in since Avengers Endgame and Infinity War kind of era. Mm-hmm. So really like the past 5 years. And we've also seen some of the biggest flops in cinematic history, not just the last 5 years, but ever. And some of that is because these films being made nowadays are some of the most expensive films ever made. And some of that's a lack of audience. Some of it is a tired audience that doesn't want these things necessarily presented in the way they are now. And let's jump into the article and figure out what they're talking about, huh?
Okay.
But that's just the stuff I guess we should have on our brains. All right. Well, I'll read this first bit. You want to take the second bit here, and then I'll take the third bit, and so on and so forth. Something of that sort.
Yeah, I have to. You didn't tell me I'd have to read when I came onto this, but okay, fine.
Well, I could keep reading if you'd like. Either way.
Go on. I'm pretty sure I've got a really sexy, sultry voice. So I'm sure people want to listen to it.
I don't have that sultriness that you got sometimes, and you can go a little ASMR with it.
I'll have to put on my deeper reading voice. My podcast voice.
Well, I don't know if we're going to really need this. This first paragraph is just Barbie and Oppenheimer created a surprise cultural tsunami. Of course, we're in the middle of that cultural tsunami at the moment. So, a box office aficionado would have to go back years, if not decades, to find another summer where 2 of the top 5 grossing movies in North America were fresh and original non-franchise tentpoles. Greta Gerwig's Barbie tops the 2023 season with a current domestic haul north of $600 million and more than $1.38 billion worldwide. The movie has shattered numerous records, including becoming the top-grossing movie in Warner Brothers history after passing up the final Harry Potter pick, not just adjusted for inflation, which was insane that it beat Batman and then Harry Potter. Insane. Anyway, and over Labor Day weekend, Barbie became the biggest film of the year to date at the global box office after eclipsing spring blockbuster, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which also was the... It was not only surprised, but it was one of the first films in years that hasn't been like a sequel or a reimagining of a film, and it was just an original first film, new IP. We jumped in new IP, so it did have a little help being an old IP, but we'll see. Real quick, Peter says, "What about Taylor Swift's breaking box office records?" She broke box office pre-sale records. So she'll probably break some box office records down the road. I'm not sure when her thing is premiering in theaters, but I'm sure it'll do something.
Theaters need to be getting into this, though, don't they? They need to be doing that more. It makes sense. They've sort of like showing operas and things here in the UK. So you can go to the cinema to watch an opera or plays from the great, some of the big playhouses down in London. But that's going to get to it. But if they can get more like, because they've got the big screen, the amazing sound system, people go nuts for that. They need to start doing that. Like when, like Elton John's final show, if they put that on in cinemas, they would fill every cinema they put on in.
Oh, that would have been genius.
Yeah, something big like that. They should put it on in cinemas. But the cinemas are going to have to do. But we'll talk about that more. But reminds cinemas are going to have to start getting more creative.
Would you just saying that before we jump forward? What about like tossing like a FIFA World Cup or a Super Bowl or something? Obviously, most people have parties to go to, but
yeah, people want to drink is the problem for things like that, don't they? They want to get
theaters in the U.S. have alcohol.
Theaters do here, to be fair, but not at the levels. And then they would be cleaning up a lot. People don't want to sit down either and do it, and they want to
be excited and jump around, and
So they'd have to do something different. They'd have to make what they could do is take out 2 of their screens and turn them into venues for things like that. Because here, a lot of the cinemas now, they have the big comfy seats that with the reclining and all that. That's their way of trying to get people back into the cinemas, make it comfortable. So I mean, I've had many a nap when I've had to go take the kids to watch a film they want to watch. I'm like straight out. But if what they could do is pull some of the seats out and put in smaller seating and put more and turn 2 of the screens or 1 screen into that sort of venue, and start showing the football at a weekend and stuff and see if people go for it. But I think it would only work for big special things sort of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously the football's on at the pub, so they probably wouldn't get people in for that.
That's a good point.
But things like Elton John and stuff like that, I think they'd sell tickets like crazy for that sort of thing.
Big concerts would be pretty damn cool. Honestly, just Elton John, people like that. If I could see the Eagles or something like that in that kind of scenario, I'd love to, or Fleetwood Mac or something like that. But just like a John Williams, he doesn't have many concerts left. I don't think he's kind of in the process of retiring, but one of those would be great because
for me, when the Foo Fighters did their recent tour following Taylor Hawkins' death, and they did 2 shows here in the UK, and you could not get tickets at all. But if they'd have showed that in cinemas, I'd have gone all day because it meant something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so that's the sort of thing cinemas need to get into. But I think they need to gut one of this, like the show we're on about Taylor Swift, whatever her name is.
Yes.
That would be better if you could drink in there, and if they changed the seating, you could jump up and dance around and stuff. And so if they could change the space to fit that type of thing better, and have an actual bar, maybe even built in.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Then I think that could really work. And like you said, they've already actually got all the licenses because they sell alcohol already.
Yeah.
So it would just be a matter of forming the space to what you want it to be, I think.
Which just depends, I guess, if their seats are built in rows or if they're built individually. I feel like a lot of the reclining seats are built individually nowadays, so that might be more doable.
You have to gut one of your screens and repurpose it, but then when a big film comes out, though, you're losing that space. So when like the next Titanic or the next Barbie comes out and every screen is full every day, you would lose that space.
That's true,
because it wouldn't be designed for it. But then you could do. I always thought they should be doing things like parties and stuff. Like films like what was that it was all ABBA and crap. It's terrible.
The singing Mamma Mia.
It was Mamma Mia. 3 times. So when Mamma Mia came out, that would be perfect for that. Do a load of cocktails, let everybody sing along, let everyone jump around. That's the sort of film that would go perfect in a setting like that, where you virtually take the seats out almost, but you have like a cocktail bar built into the cinema sort of thing, so you can just But do you like But then you could do party nights or something. You could do hen parties in there and stuff like that as well. But then, one of my point is though, the cinemas need to start thinking outside the box. I think because they're really going to struggle else. They need to get people in the door.
Find extra revenue without looking too far.
Yeah, they need to think about, right, what can we do that people will want a big screen and an awesome sound system other than films? What else can we use this technology for to get people in? And things like parties like that, I think would work.
Yeah, I know a lot of theaters are really good about trying to get people to do birthday parties there and stuff, and they offer good incentives for people to buy out like the first 4 rows or the back 4 rows or something like that. And that's a good way, but that's always kind of been a thing. I feel like you got to think outside the box to really move with the times. Laura does make a good point. There could be some fights breaking out at sporting events. That might not be the best.
Sporting events wouldn't work here in the UK, and I don't think it would in the US either, because the pubs have got the thing on that, and they will get big projector screens and stuff. I don't think that would work. Yeah. But things that they don't show in pubs is what we're talking about, isn't it? And go into that next thing.
Concerts would actually be like, I think would be a really good idea.
I like the idea of concerts and stuff, yeah, because you've got that amazing sound system. Take advantage of it. You know
that, and then like it would even be kind of cool for just riddle me this: would you go after an artist has done an entire tour? I mean, obviously Taylor Swift's the person on the mind, but like just put Taylor Swift, replace that with anybody that you'd go see. I'd probably put half a dozen reggae people up there, you know, after they do a tour. What if they film different aspects of every little line that they do on the tour, each little location, each spot kind of deal, and they get an edited together and then put that in theaters, and you kind of get a full tour film after that. That is like all the songs. It has the entire set list. It has that. But if they did a special encore one night, it might be filmed. If they had some cool special guests come on, that could be part of the tour movie or something like that.
It would be a better movie. I'm not sure though people would be as interested. I think it would be better if it was live. I think more people would be interested. I think like the last night of the show, of the tour, they do the big live spectacle that there's the audience there and it's live to cinemas. I think people would get more excited about that. Even if they've seen the show, they would probably go to the cinema to watch the last night, to watch it one more time. But I think it's like big thing, like here, like when the Spice Girls toured a couple of years ago, or Take That reformed. These are bands you'll know the Spice Girls, obviously, but like I don't know how big Take That was in America, but it was a big deal when they reformed and Robbie Williams rejoined, and people went nuts. And you could not get a ticket. I was not in the queue. It's not my cup of tea. But you know what I mean? If they'd have put that in cinemas, people would have gone. They'd have sold every seat. It's got to be stuff that's important. You know, like there's got to be a reason. It can't just be Blink-182 are touring. No, I don't think anybody would go. Even when they reformed, I don't think anybody. But U2 toured again, they'd fill it up. Elton John's world tour, they'd fill it up. You know, so it's got to be got to be those sort of events, those things that are big events that I think would work. But they'd be 3 or 4 of them a year. I reckon that you could fill the cinema. But as it got known that cinemas did it, people got used to it. They could maybe squeeze in a few more.
It'd be all your old guard, just like everybody we just said. Plus, there'd be your Taylor Swift. Plus, there'd be your Beyonce. Plus, there'd be your Billie Eilish or The Weeknd, whoever it'd be. All these new people.
The bigger the name, the less shows they tend to do as well. You know, they're massive sort of thing, so they don't tend to do. So you can't get. It's impossible to. So I just think that, that's what I'm talking about. Show it live.
Okay, riddle me this. What if they did your idea about doing it live in the city that they're in at the time? So the theaters in that city get something, and it'd be kind of like the excess crowd. You think that'd be beneficial, or would it be more beneficial to do it elsewhere?
Or even if I mean, for England, it'd probably be the country that you're in, because we wouldn't get that many. Or, you know, we might get 2 or 3 shows. If like Beyonce comes here, she's not doing 20 shows. She'll probably do Manchester, Birmingham, and London. Maybe might do Scotland, might do Glasgow, Manchester, or Liverpool, and that'd be about it. So maybe 4 shows. So you could do sort of like the cinemas around there. So like I said, the London show, or the London and South cities, but break it up. Yeah, why not? Or you just show the last one. You just show the last night, sort of thing. But there's lots of ways they could do it, but they need to advertise it. People need to know they're doing it, because it's not normal. But the point is, cinemas need to do something, because the cinema audience at the moment, like as we're going to talk about, is pretty unpredictable.
Yeah. Laura hasn't been in, she can't remember the last time, and John said it's been 4 years.
People haven't gone back since COVID. They've not gone back. They've got out of the thing. I'd say, and I don't want to jump ahead too much, because we're going to talk about all this, don't we? But there are lots of reasons why people haven't gone back, and it harks back to me like the early 80s when the video shop appeared. We've got a modern version of the video shop, and it's a problem.
Really, it truly is. Yeah, people used to go see a whole bunch. People my age don't even go nowadays, because everybody my age is super broke. There are ways to get around that. Like, I spend $23 a month on the Regal app, and because I have a Regal theater near me, it only costs 50 cents to go see a movie after that. So if I spend $35 on movies for a month, I've seen like 60. But if I've seen 10, 15 movies for the month, it's still in the $28, $30 range, which is what people are spending on 2 tickets most of the time.
I pay £16 a month for me, and I get to go as many films as I like at the Odeon. And me and the wife make sure we go at least once a week, because a ticket costs about £15. So then we know we haven't watched, which would be about $20 for you guys. So it's very reasonable. We take a bit, we sneak snacks in, because we're not paying those. We only sneak snacks in because the popcorn's always stale, and the Coke's always flat. So we thought, bollocks to that. I will buy a bag of popcorn, and I will buy a bottle of pop, and we just take them in with us.
Like, I want to support the theater so much, because I know that's one of the few ways they actually make money. But you got to give us decent snacks if you're going to charge like that. If you're going to charge that kind of price, I want more than just a microwave hot dog. I want to see somebody make that thing right in front of me. If I'm paying twice as much as I would be at a normal anywhere.
I want the popcorn to be warm and buttery and fresh and made in front of me. And for like 10 quid, I want it to give me a hand job or something. It's
essentially
expensive. You know what I mean? So it's got a, but it's not. It's crap. It's always stale, cold, very little flavor. And just I just buy a bag from Asda on the way.
Yeah. And the only time I get popcorn nowadays is whenever I'll go to one of those premieres of a movie, just because there's so many premieres out here. They all, if you get into the premiere, if you get one of the seats and everything, you got to sign up ahead of time. That's what I was doing right before we got on screen. I hopefully have a premiere for A Haunting in Venice. Come on, give me more Kenneth Branagh.
I cannot wait for that. I am
in IMAX. I want free IMAX tickets. Come on.
That'd be good. I can't wait for that. I'm really excited about it. I might take my mom to watch that.
I'm pumped. That's the perfect. It's just Agatha Christie, but a little extra horror on top of it. I'm kind of a fan.
I think it's gonna be really good, really good. And it's the first sort of semi-original story as well, so we don't really know what's going to happen.
Well, it's based off of something, but then
it's only very loosely based. They've changed the other two. They did change the story slightly to the other two, so there was a few twists that we weren't expecting. But this is going to be apparently a lot more original. You are. They basically said you're not going to know what's happening in this, so you don't know what to expect. Can't wait.
It's the thing that it is based on is like they're borrowing from like a Halloween something or Halloween tale or Halloween story. I don't remember the exact book name, but it's something Halloween, I think.
Yeah,
but I'm pumped for it. I have I have not the Haunting in Venice. I have Death on the Nile poster. I still need to actually get framed or something. I got it from like the day that it came out.
Branagh is the greatest actor. He's probably my favorite actor this generation. You've always got that one actor you just adore everything they do, and I just adore everything he's done.
He just can't do it wrong. There's no wrong. It's
just a great actor. Even when he's in shit films, he's great in them. So,
I mean, that's the thing. With Death on the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express, they're not necessarily like the best movies ever. They're just they're an homage, but they also feel like wholly original, and they also feel just it's like that warm feeling like, oh, I've read this before. I haven't necessarily visually seen it before, but I've read this, and now this is like that visual interpretation of that, and pretty spot on. Pretty spot on.
Anything. We'll move on and say, but you can do anything. Kenneth Branagh in the Harry Potters. I adored him. He was amazing. And so doing comedy and you know, it's like he can do anything. He's just phenomenal. I love him.
He's a chameleon, as the actors, as all best actors should be.
He's a proper actor.
He's proper in every sense of the term.
So, do you want me to read the next bit? Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer.
I can do this one, or you can do it, and I can read the next one. Either one.
Go for it, and then I'll read the next one.
All right, I got this next chunk. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer from Universal has earned more than $300 million domestically and north of $850 million globally, to rank as the filmmaker's biggest film debut, behind the two Dark Knight superhero picks, among other honors. Then there's Sound of Freedom, the indie movie about child trafficking that's earned $182 million domestically after Utah-based Angel Studios tapped into its faith-based conservative audience.
Thanks in a large very part. Funny as well. A great comedy. It doesn't sound like a great comedy. It sounds like a very serious movie. I've not seen it, but it doesn't sound like a laugh a minute.
Which one?
That last one. What's it called?
Sound of Freedom?
Sound of Freedom. It doesn't sound like a comedy.
Oh, it's not a comedy. No. It is.
It's sarcastic. But it sounds awful.
No, it's not a comedy. It's one of those things that like I
as a parent, I don't want to watch it because I lock my kids away. Like, get to your rooms immediately.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, no, yeah. That's the kind of thing it'll make you do.
I hate films that are too real. I don't like real films. I like films to entertain me. They shouldn't scare me to death.
Oh no, this is very real, and it scares you to death because of how real it is. My sister had just broken up with her boyfriend a couple weeks ago when it came out, and my mom, and I guess I'd already seen it. It was like 2 or 3 weeks after it came out, and my mom called me and was like, "We're taking your advice. We're gonna go see Sound of Freedom." And I was like, "Oh, great!" I was like, "What made y'all do that?" My sister's in the background going, "Well, me and Tyler aren't together anymore and stuff." And it wasn't like a bad thing. It was more on her kind of than that. But she was just like, "Oh, I want to go do something, like get my mind off of it." And it was her best friend, and my mom. They were like, "We're gonna go have a girls' day at the movie." And I was like, "You're choosing Sound of Freedom to have a girls' day at the movie? Barbie is out. Like, go see Barbie.
Go to the spa, for the love of God." Right. Okay. Anyway, thanks in the large part to the trio of different films, summer domestic revenues crossed $4 billion for the first time since the pandemic, according to Comscore. Final numbers are still being tallied, but revenue looks to clock in at $4.087 billion by the close of Labor Day weekend, a gain of 19% over 2022's $3.434 billion, and narrowing the gap from 2019's $4.348 billion to 6%. Without Barbie and Oppenheimer, we would be looking a very different conversation. It would have been a rather mundane summer, with Wall Street analyst Eric Handler of MKM Partners adds Comscore analyst Paul, not saying that. Disruption comes in many forms, and audience have spoken by their presence and absence from the movies released this summer.
Those numbers are pretty telling, I think. We are what? It says 4.087 point. So we're 2.5 million less than where we were at pre-pandemic, and we are 600 million almost up from last year's total, I guess, from the summer, which is nice.
Half of that is from 2 films, isn't it?
Reading all the domestic totals from those films earlier, that's literally just Oppenheimer or just Barbie. Just take one of those films out. And that's
Oppenheimer's worth $2 billion, isn't it? Basically, domestically ish. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's wow. Okay,
that's insane. Let's keep moving on. Hollywood has reason to be rattled by the Barbenheimer phenomenon. Damn right. Which challenges the notion that the established franchises rule above all else. Has it changed the internal dialogue? You bet, says one top studio executive. I've been at least 3 meetings where we've talked about how we need to look for something special. It's scary because you have to make sure your convictions and instincts are right. It's all about creating critical mass. That was never the case before. That's a good point. Wait, what?
I'm not even sure it's that right. So I was thinking about this. My thing was, right, okay, so is the franchise dead? Right. So is the big Marvel movie dead? Is the big, Indiana Jones sequel dead? Have we just got bored of these things? And then I know the Indiana Jones has now been released on digital video, and it's topping all 3 of the major straight to video and digital release things. So people are paying to watch it. It's getting really good numbers, and I think it actually is going to break even by the end of this week. And it looks like actually it might actually end up being a success. But they're saying, well, why didn't people go to the cinema to watch it if they wanted to watch it so bad? And I think part of the problem is, it's like I said, cinemas were nearly killed in the 80s. Back when you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye, and blockbusters came around, and there was a video shop in every corner. People stopped going to the cinema and they started watching videos at home. But it was a thing, but a lot of cinemas shut, a lot closed. And the ones that stayed open had to reinvent themselves as multiplexes and things, and they had to do different things. We've got the same thing now with streaming. Disney have completely, I think, shot themselves in the foot.
Oh, big time.
Because we know Indiana Jones is going to be on Disney Plus for free in a couple of months. Before we know it, it'll be on Disney Plus. So why bother going to the cinema? It's going to be on Disney Plus in it. Before you know it, it'll be on Disney. And how many times I did this recently? I bought Dungeons and Dragons, right? The movie, because I really enjoyed it at the cinema. I fancied watching it again. So I said, the boys, come and watch this. We'll pay for it. It's about $4.99 to rent. We'll watch it. Literally, about a month after, it's on Sky Cinema now here in the UK. So I could, if I'd have been patient, I'd have got it for free. I'd have watched it for free, or within a subscription I already paid for.
Yeah.
Once that happens to you a few times, you start thinking, unless I really want to watch this film, I'll wait, because it'll be on the streaming service soon. And with Disney Plus in particular, with any Marvel film, unless you're excited about it, why would you go watch it at the cinema? It'll be on Disney Plus in 6 months, and that flies by. It's on Disney Plus before you know it.
Yeah, it's a weird. Hold up, Can you hear me twice?
No, you sound fine to me.
Okay, my microphone sounded funky for a second. It's fine now. I could hear myself repeating for a second there. That threw me off. But no, everything you just said is totally true, and it's weird coming at it from a consumer perspective and just like that Hollywood producer perspective, if you try to think like that, because there are companies like Netflix. Everything they do is streaming, but they have become much more in the prestige film group than they have been in the past over the last few years.
Yeah.
And they're looking for Oscars, they're looking for Emmys, they're looking for these different things. And to be eligible for Oscars, they have to be put into cinemas. Glass Onion was something that I saw in a cinema, and I am very happy I did. I think it was much better for that. I watched it again at home and was like, oh, this isn't nearly as good as Knives Out. Like, what am I doing? It wasn't nearly as good, but it felt almost as good while I was in the movie theater. Almost as good. And part of that's having that audience around you. Yeah. And
everything's better than cinema.
Well, yeah, it's funky, I guess, even coming from that perspective, because they know they're going to have it on Netflix maybe in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it's kind of like it's the people that already know they're going to watch it that are going to watch it, I guess, ahead of time, I guess, in a way.
You've got to be desperate to watch it. I mean, they did that because Knives Out was such a surprise, huge hit for them. It was a massive hit. I think they always knew it was going to be popular, but they didn't know it was going to be that popular.
Well, Netflix didn't own it at the time. Netflix didn't own Knives Out, yeah.
No, but when Glass Onion then come, amazing. But I think that the streaming, but I think there's just been a perfect storm. I think there's 3 things that happened here. COVID got used to people not going to the cinema.
Yes.
And which is a problem because we weren't allowed to go, even though I loved the cinema during COVID because they were showing things like Jurassic Park and stuff. and because I pay for it, I looked Jurassic Park at the cinema, still looks amazing. And they had a couple of the Harry Potters on and things like this. And I just love to watch these all. They should do that more at cinemas as well. I want to watch Die Hard at the cinema. You know,
every Christmas.
First, every Christmas. Predator, things. That's what they need to be doing in cinemas. So show classic movies every so often. People will go. Have a classic Saturday. Every Saturday night, have a classic movie on. But it's got to be the big movie sort of thing. There's a million of them, though. I've never seen Die Hard at the cinema. I would kill.
I haven't seen it in the cinema, and that would be great. Things like that recently. Regal, they should just sponsor me at this point because I keep bringing them up. But they've had anime Sunday or anime Saturdays for the last, I think, 4, 5, 6 months, and they've been showing Studio Ghibli films every Saturday, and it's amazing. Yeah. I don't go every Saturday, but when I do go, I'm just so happy. They did I always want to say Enter the Dragon. That's not it. It's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Yeah. And that was the first time I saw that in cinemas. I think 3 or 4 months ago. It was the week after I saw Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary. And all of them were amazing in the movie theater.
There's some movies they could have, though, particularly if they did it across a nationwide sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
They could get together and do it. You mentioned Into the Dragon then. Amazing, but do that. Do Bruce Lee movies and things, and do lots. But they'd get people in bums in seats all day. But right, so people got used to not going. It's very expensive to go to the cinema. If you don't do the monthly thing that I do, and that, like I say that you do, it's really expensive. I don't want to take my kids to the cinema because it's £100 if I do. Me and the wife are paying £15.99 each, so we don't mind going. But then they want nachos, which are like £10. And their tickets are £20 each. So all of a sudden I spent £60 just on some nachos and and their cinema tickets. And it's like, Jesus, this is getting expensive. £100 for an afternoon out is quite a lot of money. You know, it's like me and my wife, we do okay for ourselves, but we can't do that every week.
Yeah, you can't do it consistently like that.
But then when you throw in the fact that the third one there is you always got inside of your head, unless I'm desperate to watch this film, it's going to be on streaming service before I know it. So why bother? Yeah. Particularly a Disney movie. Netflix don't always have brand new films on there. Paramount do, and Disney does. Disney's the one though. They seem to be on there before you bloody know it. It's like, oh god, so it's already on Disney. Wow, it's like
they've shot themselves in the foot with it entirely. It's hurt them a lot. And
cinemas more. They're going to be closing. We're going to lose cinemas soon if something doesn't change.
Well, okay.
We're starting to. Here in the UK, Cineworld went under. It got saved, but they only saved about half the cinemas. And then another big one that's not round here, but down in London, went under as well. And hasn't a big one in America gone? See or something? Do they get into trouble?
It's Cineplex, I believe, but I think it's technically a Canadian company. But they have a bunch of theaters in the US as well.
I think it's something called AMC or something like that. It was here maybe then.
Oh, AMC I think is still doing okay. They almost went under during the pandemic, but they got all that meme stock, and that helped a lot.
I wonder if it's a
you can only see movies in that format for a reason. It's worth the money.
I know. I
totally agree.
Cineworld is and Odeon here. Odeon is owned by AMC. So when Cineworld went under, AMC stepped in and bought some of those things. So it looks like AMC owns Odeon over here. But Odeon have actually done okay. They've just about survived. But they were the first ones to start doing these Plex screenings where it's on all the big lovely seats and everything. And people, we like that. We're very, very, we don't, because I'm British, I don't like being near other people. Independence Day for July 4th, amazing. Yeah,
be smart.
So if I can reach out and touch you, you're too close to me. Get the hell away from me. And then having these nice big seats, a nice big space, and then somebody will come and sit next to you, and you're like looking. I'm like, what? Move. It's like, but leaning back and stuff, but nice big comfortable seat. I'll pay the extra money for that.
Oh, it's worth it. I don't mind being too close to somebody. The only times I do mind is whenever I walk into that theater a little too baked sometimes. And I'll just be like half awkward, just kind of like crawling over people to get to the seat. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, like I'm too big, so I'm thinking like, okay, just don't look at me, just let me get to the seat. And that's always funny.
Honestly, they took like every other row out here. So it's like every other row got took out and the seats are wider as well. So they, in theory, lost a lot of. Initially, what they did was they just put the comfy seats at the back, like the back 3 rows with the comfy seats, and you paid a couple of quid extra to get in the comfy seats. Thing was, though, nobody ever then bought the other seats. So it was just the back. As soon as the back 3 rows were full, they just stopped selling tickets. Unless it was like a massive movie sort of thing. You know, like Iron Man 3 came out, something anyway. But then when that didn't work, so as soon as that happened, they sort of put something, they sort of bollocks to it and just ripped them all out.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand being far away. They did do that in the US for a lot of places, and then they've kind of put it back, I think, for the most part. And I don't know. I love a crowded movie theater. Crowded horror movies and crowded comedies are the best things in the frickin' world. I don't think you can have better feelings than that. Just while you're just
watching comedy and horrors, because it is the crowd and everybody else, and the tension builds. Comedy, you can watch a DVD at home and it's funny, but when you watch a comedian live or you watch a comedian with an audience at the cinema, it's for some reason it's funnier. It's infectious.
You get that lady in the 3rd row, they're laughing like hysterically, and her laugh's so funny it makes the guy in the 7th row back behind you laugh his funny hysterical laugh, and then everyone's just dying, and everybody just loses it. Yep. The same thing when people are like gasping and choking in the middle of a horror movie. They're just like, you know, people are like hyperventilating sometimes. It's so fun.
There's that tension in the air, though, isn't it? It builds, particularly with a horror movie or a thriller or something like that. It's just, you do feel it more because it's in the air, you know, and that tension gets in the air, and it does make a difference. And just like watching a play is exactly the same. Watching something live, it's more of an experience, and you lose that a lot at home. And that's actually what we're at risk of losing, because a lot of theatres are struggling as well, putting plays on and things, because people haven't returned and they're struggling. You know, so it's, you know, we really need to sort of champion this as much as we can. Planes, Trains and Automobiles, Thanksgiving. There's the list goes on and on, to be honest. It's
perfect.
Yeah, there's so many great movies at Christmas. They do actually. I think they do that already, because I've saw Elf a couple of years ago at Christmas, and they do tend to have like one re-release. But you know, watch Miracle on 34th Street at Christmas. And
that'd be a good family movie to go see. You know, my 3 Christmas movies now are Elf. I'd say Die Hard. I tend to watch Die Hard every Christmas. But now that Violent Night is a thing, Violent Night should be re-released every freaking Christmas.
Yeah, they've got to re-release Violent Night every Christmas. I watched that Santa Claus not the Santa Claus. Well, actually, like Tim Allen's Santa Claus. I love the second one. I love that. But the film they did with Kurt Russell, the Santa Chronicles.
That was good. I really enjoyed that.
The second one was shit, but the first one
second.
was genuine. Kurt Russell, ho! I don't do
in prison for a little bit, or in jail, but still like.
Yeah, and then there's the song and everything. It's a great movie. They should that should get a cinema release once.
Netflix. It really should, because that was a
Netflix.
That was Netflix. Yeah. Harry Potter is kind of Christmas. It is, and theaters could do a hell of a lot of money just by doing like do a Harry Potter movie marathon. That's the word I'm looking for.
The series comes out, re-release the Harry Potter movies just before the series comes out.
Money.
Yeah, all day.
Money. It'd be perfect.
You know, Warner Brothers can make up Lord of the Rings. When the new Lord of the Rings, when the Lord of the Rings series came out, Warner Brothers should have gone, should we remind people how good the Lord of the Rings actually is, and just re-release Lord of the Rings, and then people just go and watch Rings of Power and go.
I'd even argue for some of this you know what? Thinking outside of the box for some of these theaters, though, for episodic television, that is like prestige television. I'd go. I wouldn't pay a full ticket price, but I'd pay $2.50, $3 to go watch a TV episode in a theater.
They've started doing it a little bit, haven't they? Because they've started showing some like the last couple of episodes of Picard season 3, because it was getting such a manic response. They did an IMAX version, and apparently the Terry Matalas was shitting it. He says we didn't film it in IMAX. Is it going to look crap? I mean, he was really worried it was going to look rubbish, and everyone loved it.
Oh, good.
But they only did that in a few cinemas, quite think. And I'm like, yeah, they should have done that everywhere. They should have done before it's released on TV, drop it, and let us see the last 2 episodes, sort of thing, and as a 2-hour episode, sort of thing, and people would have gone to the cinema to watch that.
I'd pay $2-3 a week to go see a new House of the Dragon episode in a heartbeat.
That's a bad idea. Do it as an add-on, and do it as something like 9 o'clock on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The cinema's half empty, so yeah, show telly.
Or you could even do like, since I said like that episodic TV, well, episodic of course, like weekly, but like that type of television where it airs at 6 p.m. still, like cable based in a way, but like we're House of the Dragon airs at 6 p.m. on HBO Max now on Sundays. Why not release it on Sunday at noon, only for theaters?
Yeah,
or something like that, and then I don't know, just little ideas, little incentives.
If it was an add-on for my direct debit thing that I pay, and they said, okay, we're going to do a TV add-on, and when things like House of the Dragon is a good example, because it is the sort of thing you could imagine seeing in the cinema.
I mean, I'd go watch Ahsoka in the cinema, but like House of the Dragon too.
Yeah, anything like that though. There'd always be 2 or 3 shows, I reckon, at any one time that'd be cinema-y. You'd want when the new Love Island series come out. No, you're not going to do that. But Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and
that might do well to
people would
promote some of these things as well. Like his Dark Materials would have been one that would have been done well if they put it there, and I think that would have put more eyes on it as well in that kind of sense.
You could even do 2 things. You could say we're going to do a TV night, and we've got it's Ahsoka, small break, House of the Dragon, and that's your evening covered. You can go watch both at the cinema, and it's a £5 add-on to your doing a TV ball. But do it on the nights that are quieter. Do it at like 8 o'clock on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. People would watch it, even if it had already aired on the cinema. You wouldn't watch it at home. You'd go to the cinema to watch it. All right. Something like Star Trek Picard came out, I would go to the cinema to watch it.
Oh, and if they aired it 2, 3, 4 hours, half a day before like the actual like airing of the episode. You've got me. I want to be the first person to talk about it on Twitter with people.
Yeah, do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then air it on the Friday on Paramount, and just watch money come in. Certain things would work for that.
That would be a good incentive as well. Hey, you want to go see the entire series? Yeah, here you go.
Yeah,
that'd work for television series doing that like thing we just talked about, or if they did a Harry Potter marathon, Lord of the Rings marathon.
Yeah,
it works.
I watched a Star Trek marathon years ago, just before Star Trek. Oh bollocks! The First Contact. So just before First Contact came out, so we watched First Contact at like 6 a.m. New Stargate shows, new Stargate, happy all day. So when Star Trek First Contact came out, they did a marathon of the other movies. It was like 8. I think it was the 9th movie at the time. So it was 8 movies. We all fell asleep during Star Trek 5 when he found God. We all had a nap. It was like 4 a.m. So we all had a little lovely nap. It was great. But in between, there was a compare, and he's doing sort of like little quizzes and things, and who's the most hated character in all of TNG history? And we all go, well, something. Will we too? We hate that twat. It's like, it's like, and make an evening of it. And then they made us breakfast. So we had a breakfast. It was shit. It was like,
that's cool.
It was like a bowl and some.
It couldn't be good. But...
And then they premiered First Contact, and we all went nuts. We'd been up all night. We'd watched it literally. It was straight through till the morning. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they didn't start it at 9 a.m. and then just run through to the evening, but they didn't. But it was amazing, and I've never seen them do it again for anything. But like you said, new Harry Potter comes out. Why didn't they do a marathon before it?
For real.
Get people dressing up. Yeah, do all 9 Star Wars movies, and just see people walk out halfway through and then come back.
I might be grumbling through the last 3, but I would be happy to be there.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings. Do a Lord of the Rings 15 days marathon of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Just do the extended edition Lord of the Rings marathon, and I'm there.
Yeah, what would that be like? hours in, people to go nuts. But then, like
Yeah.
you said, you've got to make it an event. Get people to you get a free mug if you come dressed up. That
Yeah.
sort of thing.
You get a poster or something like that. Something cheap and easy.
Dressed up and do quizzes in between and do little giveaways and things and make it an event, and people would come because
give us the incentive.
You know, it's like people would love it. But that's what they've got to do. They've got to start doing things like that because they've got to get people in the door, and it's got to be something you can't do at home. And people love things like that. You know,
I would like to see all the Aliens film at cinema. Yeah, that'd be really great. Before the new Aliens movie by Fede Alvarez comes out, that'd be great. That'd be an awesome thing to have.
If they did that, if they did a big marathon thing once a month, they would always be able to find something. It'll be the anniversary, do a marathon, or a new film is coming out, do a marathon. They'd always be able to do something, and it should be on. People would take the day off work. Do it on a Monday when there's no bugger in the cinema. People would take the day off work for things like that.
Well,
Saturday.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Because no, that's fine. I said, do it on a Saturday and just charge a lot, and people would still do it. Like, look at people who go to Comic Cons and things like that, and those are the sort of people that would dress up and go to a big Harry Potter Saturday. Starts at 9 a.m., finishes at 9 in the evening. A few giveaways, a few blah blah. But it's £100 a ticket, $150 a ticket for a day's entertainment. You do it.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. Die Hard 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. I don't know. I forget how many there were.
I think there were 6.
There's some weird Russian one towards the end that wasn't great. But you know what I mean? It's like there's a million of those they could do. Bruce Lee, do a Bruce Lee, like we mentioned earlier, Bruce Lee marathon.
Give me Enter the Dragon. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Bruce Lee thing. You could even, if you did something like that, say, you do a Bruce Lee thing, but throw in a couple episodes of Green Hornet or something, just because you could. And, you know, but
your intermissions could be episodes of Green Hornet.
Exactly, yeah, why not? I'm trying to think of other things that could do with that. You could do the Star Wars thing, and then you could throw in a couple of the animated episodes that matter to the series sort of thing. And
that's a great idea.
But it needs to be the entire cinema. So AMC need to do this basically. Do it through Odeon, do it through because they need to get the rights, and it's not. I assume that's one of the reasons why they don't do it because it's quite hard. But the studios need to sort of be encouraging them to do it. Like Warner Brothers needs to be going, you know. Yeah, here's the Harry Potters. We will give you the rights for virtually nothing because, you know, you're going to get bums in seats and it'll help us. And, you know, like do it.
Well, right now they're doing something kind of like that. And I think they should do that more often is Warner Brothers and Disney. And they both had their 100-year anniversaries. So Disney 100 and Warner Brothers 100 have just had a bunch of movies in theaters. Like right now, I think I could have gone and seen some Harry Potter recently, actually, in some of my local theaters. If the studios themselves were willing to chalk down the price a little bit for the actual theater to show all these things, I think they have an untapped market. Like we've taken a solid 30 minutes talking about an untapped market that would be easily tappable. Yeah. Easily tappable.
If they had
already been shot, they have it all. They just have to put it out.
If they had Die Hard or Predator or any of the a million classic movies. For me, it'd be like old Cary Grant movies, something like that. I'd be all up for that. Like Father Goose, whatever. I'd go all day.
Give me some Marlon Brando, little On the Waterfront or something. I'd be there.
On and on and on. But if they did that and then charged £5, $10 for a ticket, you'd be like, well, it's almost rude not to go.
Yeah, I mean, for real.
Yeah,
that'd be a good way to just get me in there all day, forever. Oh.
I think they should start doing B movies again.
I love B movies. Just give me more Bruce Campbell everything. Just follow his B movie guide, please.
What they should do is show an old movie and then the new movie as part of your ticket.
Ooh,
so you get a 15 quid ticket to go watch the new film, but before it, there's an old classic movie, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be anything. It could be something you've never bloody heard of.
That's honestly better sometimes.
Yeah, and just to like go, oh, okay, let's go watch that, or a new release, or a little indie film or something that otherwise wouldn't be national. Do something like that, but they'll show the indie movie and then they show the proper film. So you got the your B movie, and then shows the proper film afterwards. But it's part of your ticket. Go or don't go, up to you. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, that film wouldn't get in the cinema. That sort of thing.
And that's a good way to like, because a lot of indie films nowadays are in only like the theaters that show the indie thing, like or aren't in theaters at all, and that's because people would rather pay for 20 showings of Black Panther 2 or Ant-Man or Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, whatever's on. Some Blue Beetle, not even Blue Beetle nowadays, they're not even paying for that. Like, it has to be something big enough, and then they just take up all their slots instead of putting them out there. One of my favorite films of last year, my favorite film last year was Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is technically independent, but got big enough to be put different places. Yeah. Another one that was great and nobody saw was one of my favorite Brits in general is Mark Rylance, and he did a movie with Dylan O'Brien, and nobody saw it, but it was called The Outfit. And Mark Rylance is essentially an old tailor. He's like a cobbler and a tailor, and it's pure old like 40s gangster, and it's just done immaculately. Small hour-and-a-half movie. Nobody saw it, and I don't know why they would have. It's, of course, I go see so many movies. Like, I'm in the audience that would go see it, but if that were able to be in front of a bigger gangster movie, if that played in front of like Scorsese's Killer of the Flower Moon this year, that double feature I would die for. And I think a lot of other people would not necessarily like the idea at first, but then they get in it and they're like, oh, wait.
He was ripped off, I think. Even if you just had the option and didn't take it, at least you'd be like, yeah, but I'm paying for 2 films. But what people will say is, I want to, okay, well, give me a $10 ticket because I don't want to see that first film. So you would actually be opening a hornet's nest. But if you did it as films that, like I said, you're basically not paying for, it probably wouldn't work, to be honest. But it would work with some films. Like you said there, though, if you did the new Batman when the Dark Knight films are coming out, and then you can either pay $10 for your ticket to go watch the Dark Knight 2, whatever it was. Like, it was Dark Knight the second one. Because then it was Dark Knight Rises 2.
Yeah. So Dark Knight Rises.
Or you can pay $15, and we're going to show Batman before it as well. So we're going to show the Batman movie, and then we're going to show, and then you can watch Dark Knight. So we'll show you the film that came before it, and then if they did something like that, or we're going to show you the 1989 Batman, and then you can watch the new Batman movie. So when the new thingy Batman, with the penguin, everything comes out, so show the original Michael Keaton movie first, and it pays that on the ticket. People would, but you can either
they could have done that for the Flash,
or do it as an option. Yeah. $20, and you can go and you can watch them both if you want. And we're like, yeah, I'd do that. But this is my point. They need to start being imaginative. Look how many different ideas we've come up with in the last hour and a half. And you're seriously telling me that people at the cinemas aren't thinking, numbers aren't great. Other than 2 films, these numbers are terrible. Indiana Jones bombed. And it's not a bad film. The Flash bombed, and it deserved to because it's terrible.
Yes.
Indiana Jones is not a bad film. It's okay. It's not, Raiders of the Lost Ark. It isn't. But it's not bad. It's better than Crystal Skull.
I was about to say, I think it might be better than Crystal Skull.
It's not. I would say it was on par for me. The Dial of Destiny was on par with the Ark, not Ark, the second one. Temple of Doom. It's on sort of a par with that for me. Much better than Crystal Skull. Not as good as the to me, The Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark are the best Indiana Jones films. They're brilliant. They're classics, instant classics.
I agree.
Temple of Doom isn't as good. I would say it's better than, don't get me wrong, it's better than Dial of Destiny. But those are the 2 films I would put in the box together. I would say Temple of Doom is better. But those are the 2 films I would say they're not far off each other. And then Crystal Skull is, oh please God, let's pretend it's not an Indiana Jones film.
I'd put Dial of Destiny probably a little closer to Skull, but I think it is much better than Skull. Yeah,
There's
it's much better.
nothing except for maybe the end is weak for Dial of Destiny. To be fair, the end is weak.
The very end is weak, and then I feel like a lot of the setup is very weak. It's so reliant on CGI while trying to make you feel like it's in an old environment. I'm just like, give us something that plays into the film that you made, and not so much like the nostalgia factor aspects of it. But I did really enjoy it, and I do worry that James Mangold just did a project that everyone thought was going to be awful and did a hell of a lot better, and was a hell of a lot better than we wanted and expected it to be. And now he's still with Lucasfilm, and he's supposed to do this like Origins of the Jedi movie. And I love the idea of like the very first Jedi going all the way back and like figuring out how this all happened. And James Mangold is the type of person to do it. But are they going to even let him do it now after Indiana Jones is one of the biggest flops in history?
If Indiana Jones does well. And I tell you, like, if it goes on Disney Plus and they get good views, I'm gonna, as soon as it's on Disney Plus, I'm watching it again. It will get good views, so it might end up doing all right. My worry is, are they going to then look at a film like that and go, well, we need to spend $100 million less for a start, and actually it wouldn't have lost. What did it lose in the end? Like $150 million or something at the cinema. What did it take? I think it did take more than $100 million in the end, didn't it? But didn't it cost like $250 million to make or something?
I think it was closer to $250 million before marketing even.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I mean, if you think if that was actually, I've got $290 million budget in my head. So
it's probably in that
something like that. And I think worldwide it took about $150 million. Something we can Google that quickly, but
which is insane for a freaking Indiana Jones movie. Real quick, Mark, Rings of Power is worthy of a cinema screening. Yeah, I said it. I've seen the first 2 episodes in the cinema, and they were 1,000 times better in the cinema. That being said, I feel like the rest of the series probably would have also hurt pretty badly, whether it was in the cinema or not. But visually, it fits the cinema, and it's almost feels like that's where it should be. I would go pay for episodes of that. I would.
Yeah. It took actually Dial of Destiny worldwide took $381 million.
That's the final thing. Nice, cool.
But its budget was $290 to $300 million. So remembering that Disney don't get all that $300 million box office because the cinemas take a chunk of that. They reckon it basically lost $100 million. But then the digital release has done very, very well. But like I say, it's topped the 3 charts. So people are paying for it at home. So it will make its money. They won't lose money on it in the end.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good for them.
But it's still, oh man. But the cinema is just so, like, right, when Mario Brothers came out, did anybody really think that was going to be was it nearly $1 billion in the end? It made a crap load of money.
I thought it was going to be the biggest film of the year. I wasn't Barbie.
No, but I never saw Barbie coming. Anyway, and when I saw the Barbie movie, I'm like, and then I heard how political it was. I'm thinking, like, well, that's going to absolutely bomb on its arse. Because it's my first thing was, girls don't play with Barbies anymore, do they?
Not really.
I heard it was this very big patriarch versus matriarch. I thought, well, the woke people are going to destroy that, and they did. I mean, people like Popcast were coming out going, "This is the most dangerous movie ever made." I'm like, I don't know. There's a few propaganda movies just for World War II that were pretty dangerous. But
I mean, just thinking like that though, Oppenheimer's much more of a dangerous. If you're coming from that mindset, I guess Oppenheimer would be the much more dangerous movie made. It's almost like talking about how communism can be good and stuff at times, and like the dude that made the bomb was like, cool. Like, yeah, it doesn't go that far, but it leans to that direction at times. Obviously, that's because his wife's an ex-communist. His lover is a communist.
Far more sex in that movie than I was expecting.
That's the most. I think that's the only sex in any Christopher Nolan movies ever.
Doesn't he do the line? I've become the destroyer of worlds while he's drilling a woman.
While Florence Pugh is riding him
And
in
I'm
a
like,
chair. Yes,
I don't get it, but okay.
it works.
Yeah.
Perfect.
If that's my seat, baby, I'm the destroyer of worlds. Go and have it.
Destroy it. But have you seen Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, I saw I can't talk about that. I saw it before it came out.
Well, I don't know. I love that scene. I thought that scene was well done. It's obviously very easy to talk about afterwards in a multitude of ways. But just that the mental aspect of Oppenheimer sitting there mentally, his lover's on top of him because he's retelling the story, and here's his wife just. But she can't have the eyebrows or the eyes like that because then the government people that are interviewing them right now are going to have an entirely different opinion on the two of them, which is interesting.
Yeah. But it's just it's a marvelous movie though.
It really is.
It's done in the Chris Nolan way. I'm not always the biggest fan of Chris Nolan. Tenet is generally one of the worst films I've ever seen.
I love Tenet.
And it's
sound-wise.
Interstellar, isn't it?
Yeah, Interstellar. You said you weren't a big fan of Interstellar.
Hate it. It's
stupid. Interstellar.
And people are going, it's the most scientifically accurate movie in it. No, it isn't.
How?
It's not remotely scientifically relevant. For one, the robots in it would fall over. It's just stupid design. Nobody would design a robot that's basically a big box. The time dilation stuff they got right. I was okay with the time dilation stuff. The big super wave that comes in. The water's only that deep. So where's all that water coming from?
That's a different planet. Like the atmosphere is different, the time's different.
Yeah, but that's not how waves work.
On this planet?
No, it's not. So it's the only way that works is that has happened, and obviously they're close to where the water then goes deep, and it's obviously that wave is hit. So okay, maybe, but the whole bit at the end when he's behind the thing and he's think he can use his magic powers apparently to make the gravitational thing of the vibrations and stuff. Even though technically they're talking about quantum mechanics, and technically mathematically what they're talking about is in quantum mechanics. Feasible, there is no realistic basis for any of what happened. The whole last 30 minutes of that film are nonsense.
Well, it's more conceptual physics than anything. It'd be like theoretical physics more so than obviously what we can perceive in real time. If we were trying to like perceive that in real time, the movie would be much
theoretical quantum mechanics, and quantum mechanics has no coalition with big. It's the macro versus the micro, and quantum mechanics doesn't affect our realm, sort of thing. So there's two very separate. I saw a scientist and he was talking about how we still cannot figure out a theory of everything, and what they're starting to realize is because there isn't one. They're separate.
Well,
the effect there's a blurry middle line in the middle where they affect each other, but generally speaking, the micro and the macro don't. There's one school of thought anyway that they don't actually affect each other, and that's why we haven't got a theory of everything. Why they're so different, and it's one way of thinking about it.
But the Theory of Everything movie is a great movie.
It's a wonderful movie, but he didn't know anything about quantum mechanics in that.
Isn't string theory technically the theory of everything because it takes the micro and the macro?
There are elements of string theory that explain that fuzzy gray area in the middle, but aren't relevant to. So it's partly relevant. They think maybe it's how matter has actual mass. Is to do with sort of like the string theory, and then there's elements of string theory and membrane theory that's been pretty much proven probably not to be accurate. That does sort of explain why matter has certain frequencies. So that might be relevant, but string theory's never been it's never gone beyond a theory.
It's still theory,
so that we've got no experimental evidence to explain how things. So it's in theoretically, but it's actually kind of gone out of popularity in the last few years.
It has. I'm hoping it comes back. You remember when I think Stormy and I talked about it? We kind of went off on a tangent in one of our streams a couple months ago, weeks ago, whatever it was, where quantum foam has become where we thought nothing was just like, okay, how do we quantify nothing? And turns out there is no nothing where we think there was nothing. It's quantum foam. Maybe I'm hoping, of course, my optimistic self. That kind of brings string theory back into the forefront of people's minds.
Or at least another way of explaining it may be that when we actually break these things, it's going to be sort of a hybridization of lots of different theories because we're seeing perspectives on different things and explain it. We still don't understand though why light acts as a particle in a wave. We don't understand that. There's theories.
I'm hoping that like the quantum stuff, the quantum foam aspect of that, if we can define nothingness, hopefully we can define particles of light and how how does light move through space and not need propulsion? I don't know, like
an example, this scientist, I'll Google him later and send you a link to him. This guy that was saying that basically there may be two separate. He actually suggested there might be three theories. So there will be a thing of everything that does this fuzzy gray area in the middle, and then we've got like Newtonian physics, and then we've got like quantum mechanics underneath it. And he says that might be this, but he was actually saying that he was like explaining nothing is massively important, and he made he equated it to mathematics, and he says until we realized and we could quantify zero. Maths didn't make sense. Zero is so important, but it's not a thing. It's a way of describing nothing, basically.
Yeah, we had to create that. It was imagination kind of thing. Yeah, it
was about 600 years ago. Something it was invented, but then all of a sudden it made complex math make sense. And he said that's what he was talking about. He says when we nail that, he thinks a lot of other things will slip into place. But at the moment, we're a little bit away from nailing nothingness. But there's one theory that the universe is horseshoe shaped.
Yeah, which I like that SGU thing that y'all talked about. How that might have been like their end goal, and they just jump back or something like that across that little like horseshoe end there.
There's another theory that if you travel for far enough in the same direction, you'll end up back where you started eventually. Because the universe is, but that's going into the universe bubble thing, and there's multiverse theory and things. But there's so many different theories.
And I know you got in trouble talking about it just a little bit the other day. We talked about it before stream, but we're not going into the trouble aspect of anything. But in the game of Starfield, I feel like that would be. I don't know how they designed the game mechanics, but I'd be interested for someone to go one direction and just see where they end up. Are they going to end up just on the other side of the map or something? But I feel like Bethesda's probably played into that to a degree because you can just fly and just go towards a direction, towards a new planet. Like someone, I read an article, someone tried to go from like Mars to Pluto, and it took them 7 hours of gameplay to actually fly there. And because Pluto's not like, nothing was actually going on the planet, it wasn't like a landable stop. So they took 7 hours to get to Pluto, and they could just fly through the planet because it wasn't like a planet that was like playable or something like that, which sucks. But hey, 7 hours. I mean, it's obviously not real time, but it's kind of closer to that. It's just the game mechanics because they like to be so use realism and be realistic where they can.
I won't be playing it, but I will be playing, hopefully, the new Stargate game.
Timekeepers!
Before everyone else. Slytherin have been in touch, and they have said that if we would like to have a copy of the game, and if we get enough codes, Harris might get to play. And I'm not going to let Matthew play just to punish him because he was way too excited. And I may even ask
the corner.
Well, I may even ask Slytherin if they would let me give a code away. So we can be able to do a little bit of a giveaway.
That'd be really cool.
But we should get it 2 or 3 weeks before the game is released, and they're looking at late early winter. So it'll be December, hopefully before Christmas. Fingers crossed. So
you should play like the first few missions prior to everything. Obviously, you probably will, but you should record yourself playing them and release them as like they would allow you to, I guess.
As soon as they get us in, they said we can start doing videos as soon as we get the code. So I'm just going to start playing and recording myself playing, and then we'll. So I need to figure out how to do it. But yeah.
Add away. We'll all be testing, maybe. I don't know. We're just gonna bug the hell out of them until they're like, okay, we got Stargate fans. Thank y'all, and then they just give us codes. That's the goal.
That's the goal. I will start bugging them for a bit more info and see if we can get something else out of them about development and stuff as well. We'll start talking about it because it's the one thing we can actually talk about that's solid, that we actually know is happening. I do have a couple of interesting little tidbits coming up on Stargate, but I need to clarify them. But it's all just a lot of the same thing at the moment. It's starting to get more and more rumors that actually they were starting pre-production before the strikes hit, and they were starting to do bits and bobs about. It looks like a few early set things were done. It looks like they were really gearing up, which kind of makes sense because of all the rumors we heard about some of the actors being signed on and blah blah blah. Pretty cool. The director ready to sign on and all these sorts of things. So it looks like they were maybe a little bit further along than we realized. And I've heard a few other bits and bobs that I'll talk about as soon as I can. I've got one.
We are eagerly waiting.
Well, I've got one piece of information that's so gold, and I can't tell anyone. It's so annoying. I've known for about 3 months. So I can't tell anyone. It's maddening. But
hey, maybe we'll get to 50K before you can tell everybody, and then you can get a tattoo of that information.
No, I won't be able to tell anyone until it's released. But and I swore, I promised I wouldn't tell anyone at all. So Harris, I can't even tell you.
You must remain a man of your word, and that is all right. That's all right.
Yeah. Well, you got to protect that. At the end of the day, that's the thing with me, that I got a few sources that share little bits of information with me. Like tonight, I've done a video about Star Trek that looks like, actually, when I recorded the video, it looked like it was just a rumor and conversations, but actually it looks like it might have even moved on, that Prodigy is going to be appearing on Amazon, and it's going to be happening quite soon, apparently. So that's even moved on. But at the end of the day, I get told things all the time I don't share, and I don't even tell Matt.
Well, I mean, you got to verify half the things first. I mean, to a degree.
Oh, there's loads of stuff that I don't tell because I don't believe it. I got a few sources that, well, even there, a source will come to me and go, "This has been rumored. We're not sure," and it doesn't seem to make sense. But this is how it comes out. I'll get stuff all the time, and they go, "There's this been thing released through the marketing people, but don't repeat it because it's not true. They're just trying to get people talking about blah 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 or whatever." And apparently this stuff comes out all the time. Or they try to release stuff, and I see YouTube channels and talking about it, and I'm like going, "That's not true." But that's fate. But I've one of my sources actually works in that area, so they're really good at telling me what's true and what isn't. No, because I couldn't get it. I couldn't get a copy. I pre-ordered it months ago, and it never came. So that's the cartoony front. I'm gonna have to see if I can find another place to get it. But I just got an email off. I bought it on Amazon, pre-ordered Amazon. I got an email off from one about a month ago saying we can't get a copy. They refunded me.
Well, that's good at least.
And I never got around to looking again. But I'll have to have another look again. So I really want to see. I really want to watch it. I really want to read it.
Did you read it, David? Did you enjoy it by chance?
Yeah. Tell me if it's good, Dave, because then I'll have to find a copy if it's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point we're nearing on 2 hours. We've kind of covered, I think, what the article covers.
I'm going now. Goodbye. I am going. Good night.
We'll just hang out for a second to wait to see what David says. But I think we're done with the article. I think we covered pretty succinctly and gave people good ideas of what they could do. outside of the typical narrative of cinema, I guess, nowadays. And of course, he comes in as we're talking about leaving. Hooty hoo, oh Aaron. Howdy, howdy.
Hey, I haven't spoken to Aaron in ages. Say hi, Aaron.
I know.
One thing I do want to ask you guys actually is because we've got the regular Sidetrackers in. When Stargate gets announced, I want to celebrate it somehow. A giveaway or some sort of something. That's a good idea. I never thought about Kindle. I'll find out on Kindle. But anyway, so I want to do something. So greetings, sir. So start throwing some ideas. What can we do to celebrate? I don't mind spending a bit of money. You know, YouTube has been reasonably kind to us. They give us a few pennies here and there, but I'd love to do something to celebrate when we do finally get the announcement. Never mind when it's actually on our screens. So, but what would be a good idea? I can collect a few bits and bobs and do a giveaway, or we could do something to celebrate it.
T-shirt or something. And
we could do a really T-shirt,
a couple shirts.
I could get if I got like I could do a special T-shirt and get like a bunch made up really cheaply, and virtually give them away. I could do something like that, like first 100 people to comment on the video, get the T-shirt, something like that. We could do something like that. That's a good idea.
And we could do little Sidetrack Funkos, us as Funkos, but with Stargate stuff on us.
Yeah, that might be a little bit more expensive than I was thinking, but I could put like a Stargate like pack together and do a little competition to win it or something. There's things we could do. But if anybody's got any ideas, throw them on the group, throw them on the comments, let me know. And because I think it's going to not long after the strike ends, we're going to get an official announcement. And I think the announcement will be that it's a little bit further along than we think. I think 6 months before Principal Photography, they've been working on it. I don't think we'll get an announcement until Principal Photography starts. They will tell us when they've got absolutely no choice. And that is basically when Principal Photography starts, because then they've got no choice then because they can't hide it. Until then, they won't tell us. And that's quite common. We knew nothing about the new Daredevil series really until Principal Photography. It was just a rumor. And then we found out that this Aftermath was getting made. Because
they started picketing all the fence lines.
Well, yeah, exactly. But they didn't have a choice. And I think it'll be the same with Stargate. We won't know till they've got no choice but tell us. So it'll be nice to do something when we get that official announcement. This channel in particular that owes so much to Stargate has got to do something big.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Whenever they announce it, until it actually releases, we could have one member. So maybe it'll be an incentive to get new members as well. But one member every week come on and ask. They get to answer one pop Stargate question, and if they win, they advance to like another round or something.
We could do a big competition while we're waiting for the cinema, while we're waiting for the movie to come out. Do like the ultimate sort of Stargate, trying to find the ultimate Stargate fan. Yeah,
that's a really good idea. Matt was already doing all the questions and stuff for like good quizzes and stuff like that. So we kind of already have some questions brought.
We could do a round each week, sort of thing, as part of the lives or something, or
a little trivia tourney.
Yeah, we could do something like that but then get a decent. Yeah.
I don't know if we need signed photos just yet or anything. Maybe in the future. I don't. When Jamie does his scandalous calendar, then you might need some signed photos. There you go.
That's me being sexy.
Arr.
That's the January. February, just me with a Sidetrack mug. That wouldn't work actually, would it? We can still see it as Jamie. Ah, shit.
What about a sexy, sweaty summer? What are you going to be there?
I've already done that because I did the video on Monday. I released that video yesterday.
Oh, that's right. I did. Was that the Expanse video, or which one was the one?
Yeah, the Expanse video where I get very sweaty.
Oh, that was great. You're like, this is my friend John Boy.
Yeah.
It's just like good hike. I was like, yes.
That bit where I go at the end, no more talking now. I am dying when I did that bit. I am dying. We nearly did. We ran out of water, because there's nothing for miles. Normally, we would go to a pub or something along the way. We'd just split it up. but there was just nothing on this route for miles. And that in England, that's weird.
That does sound weird.
But it was so much hotter than we thought it was going to be. Because it's been really cool here till then. That was like the first day of this heat wave we're getting. And I ran out of water at mile 5. We did 12 miles and I ran out of water. And
12 miles or 12 kilometers?
12 miles.
Oh, that away.
But it was like this. At one point, we were it was like a 45-degree angle. I've really hurt my leg, actually. But anyway, but it was really up and downhill constantly. So we were doing like 1 mile an hour at places. It was just, it took us 6 hours. So we averaged 2 miles an hour. It was that bad. Normally, you'd average about 4 miles an hour walking. We did 2. But we came
across in your back.
Well, I was carrying 8 kilograms, so I had my tent and everything on my back as well. So, but and he brought a tent, even though he'd already gone to the campsite the night before and packed up. He brought 2 tents just so we had some weight, just to train, because he's doing a big hike in a couple of weeks. But we found a campsite that had a tap on the gate, and we were just like home, like
it's like drinking out of it like a dog.
I nearly died. So it's really bad. So I didn't take enough food, didn't take enough water.
I for one vote more hiking videos. Hiking like American.
Yeah, hiking like American. But yeah, I've done a few on the beach, and
I love the beach videos.
I'll be going to the caravan again in a couple of weeks. I'm sure I'll do a beach video. But yeah, I'm going to do a few more nice, pretty views, but I will plan ahead next time. So I actually write a few notes. So I'm not doing it from memory. And then there'll be a few less mistakes in the video.
You got it though. That was fun as hell one way or another. But honestly, just make the mistakes. Editing's there for a reason. That does put more in
exactly. And then as well, when you make a mistake, just leave it in. Just leave it in the edit. Screw it. It's fine. Get comments.
Let the comments happen.
As long as you're not making these really stupid mistakes. Like I said at one point that I called it Aaron. It's Naren Shankar, and somebody said you called him Aaron. Because I think it just sounds like I said Aaron.
I'm out of breath in all caps. Just I was struggling.
But I definitely said Naren. So I'm like, no, I didn't make that mistake. I'm sorry I didn't. But I did say Amcron instead of Alcon. But I mean, that's
not bad though.
It's not ridiculous, is it? I didn't say it was like Warner Brothers made Superman movies or something, did I? It's like, it's not that bad. I've made much worse mistakes than that in the past.
Because Amcron's still a company, isn't it?
It probably is. They make something.
Yeah, it's Amcron Entertainment.
There you go. So I've got it in my head from somewhere anyway, because I've made the mistake before. I've called it Amcron before. But it's just Alcon is just such an odd name. I've got Amcron in my head from somewhere, but I don't care.
David has a question.
Yes, I will be watching the B5. I'm going to go watch it at the weekend. My dad has said, my dad is a bastard. I love him very much, but he can. I actually had a word with him. I said to him today, because I was at his house today, and I went, I'm just going to take the Blu-ray player with me. He went, no, you're not. And I'm like, I said, why? I lent you also. And then I'd only gone around there to help him because they can't figure out to use their phone. So I went and helped him, and I said, "What?" And that's a come around at the weekend, and you can watch your movie. Just pop over the weekend. So I'm going to pop over the weekend, because actually my son and my daughter-in-law and my grandson are coming with me to Caravan in a couple of weeks. So I'm not going to get to watch Babylon 5. So I'll go up and watch it at the weekend. But it is ridiculous that I still haven't seen it.
Well, that's just an excuse for your dad to see it again. That's a good way.
I've heard some mixed views on it as well. Some people love it, some people hate it. So
I don't spoil anything for me, I guess. But the only thing I've ever known. No, never mind. I was about to just embarrass myself. I'm not even going to mention what I was.
You haven't watched Babylon 5, have you?
Oh no, I haven't. And I was about to show that I haven't watched Babylon 5 or another thing that keeps getting remade a few times over. That's also sci-fi and kind of similar.
Watch Babylon 5, honestly, mate. You'll love it.
I should.
Particularly like the third season is phenomenal. It wanders off towards the end, but it is excellent. Watch it before they do the remake.
Oh yeah, David says it's an 8 out of 10, so that's good.
Well, I will tell you at the weekend, guys. I won't bother doing a video on it now because it's been too long, but I will put a comment on the community. So I'll mention it on the live, probably.
Oh yeah. Do we know a topic, or are we still thinking of one for this weekend?
I'm thinking this week might just be a hangout. Just bring stuff we want to talk about, and we'll just hang out with it. Then let the lovely people make comments and ask them if there's something they want to talk about.
Stormy and I shall ramble for half of it, and then piss y'all off at just the right moments, just to rally up, just to get something good going.
And then somebody will mention something about politics or Manchester United, and I'll be off. Right, everybody, shut up. This is. I put the word out. Yeah, we're out. But guys, I'm really sorry, but I have to call it an evening.
No, we're hitting 2 hours now, right now,
and we are back tomorrow night as well. So
we're back tomorrow night. I will be back again later. So as Ahsoka premieres, watch Ahsoka 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and after that, about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Schmook and I will be doing an Afterthoughts episode for that. And if Aaron comes in, just out of curiosity, when do I get to play again? Come play and talk to Ahsoka. Come watch some Ahsoka with us. Not only will Schmook and I be on there, so we can have our double Aarons if you come around. We can have Aaron Schmerald and Aaron is it Hetchler? It's something along those lines, I believe. And then Nick from Nick and Knight, my buddy that does all the TikToks. He should be there as well. So we'll have a little panel talking about Ahsoka.
Cool.
It'll be a fun one. It'll be our afterthoughts on it, of course.
Yep.
And it might not look pretty just yet. I might try calling Matt real quick and see if he can help me out. But I will be streaming because I was just exhausted yesterday and I didn't game at all. But I will be streaming Starfield probably twice today. Probably before the Ahsoka Afterthoughts episode and the actual episode itself. And then again after the fact. So y'all keep your eyes out there, and just for being dolls, just for being so great. We have a really cool G-Cubed intro that Matt made, and I kind of want to show it off. Shall we show it off real quick?
Why not? And just
keep talking, my bad.
I was just going to say, Aaron, yeah, we will get you back on Sidetrack at some point, mate. It's literally just we're full up on a Sunday. That's the only reason why not. But when we've got a subject that you're interested in, or I do a Star Wars video or something, you're always welcome. But we're full up, so can't have 5 people on a stream. We just can't. It'd be terrible. So
I have seen it. I have to watch it after the fact because we've been doing the afterthoughts.
I haven't been watching it because I haven't watched Ahsoka. So.
He's watched one episode and part of the second episode. I've tried.
I watched a bit of the first episode, and then I may have or may have not have stared at my phone for 20 minutes because I was bored. And then I watched most of the second episode, but I may or may not have fallen into a coma. So I will try to watch the third episode. A little bit of a coma. Throw the G3 because it's awesome.
All right, we got it. So, brand new intro for Matt for G-Cubed. We will run this. I'll give you a little spiel at the end, and then we'll be out of here.
I'm sorry.
I might be biased, but I love it.
It's so much better than anything I've got. So I might have to get him to do like a live with all of us, like that pixelated version of all of us on a live.
Like I didn't even ask him to do it. Like literally, I woke up and we were doing the Sidetrack stream, and he's like, well, "Look what I got." I'm like, "Thank you, shit, thanks." I mean, hell, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm
going to tell him to do us one for the to advertise G3 as well, but which does sound like a girls' magazine, by the way. Just saying.
Hey, more growls are always welcome.
Yeah, G3. It's G3 magazine. Magazine for ladies.
Cube. Little cube in there.
Yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
You know? But while we're talking, and I know we can talk over it, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all know we appreciate the hell out of it. And we have a little fun if you never noticed. Yeah. Also, Matt made me this in 8-bit pixels as well. So follow me on Twitter and also Snapchat and Instagram and all the other places. It's the exact same thing. All that. Jamie, where can people follow you? Because I do need to get back in the habit of promoting the socials. You know?
We're on Twitter at TV at Sci_TV.
I think that's right.
Facebook, Sci-Trek Facebook group. Obviously, we're on Discord. We've got the dedicated website, scitrek.co.uk, which we're putting stories related to all of our videos on. When I get to write them, they take ages.
Perfect grammar every time. He's literally a Pulitzer Prize winning writer.
I think I write okay, but don't worry about the grammar. Just ignore that. And but you'll get the gist. I think they're a bit of fun. I try to be a bit cheeky with them. And Mason, and please go check us out on patreon.com/Sci-Trek, where you get to see most of our videos before everyone else. But I think most of the people that are in with us tonight are hardcore Sci-Trekkers. They know all this stuff.
I agree. It's always there just for people coming in.
Yeah.
In the future, all that kind of stuff.
I think I might have to.
Right, it's Hitchler. I knew it. I knew it was the second one. I knew it.
I think I might have to get like a Sci-Trek special T-shirt done, and and send it out to members and a few hardcore fans that deserve. When we hit, I don't know, when we hit 50K, I'll do a 50K T-shirt and it'll be free to you, really, because I mean we've got some fans that have just been astonishing, and have been with us pretty much since the start as well. A few, and they deserve a massive thank you because you've been amazing.
Legit, we straight up have like a small group of people that I feel like I talk to on a daily basis.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's I'm humbled by it in lots of ways. I've made friends. I wouldn't know who you were. I wouldn't know you if it wasn't for I wouldn't know Stormy. You know, I knew Stormy before Sci-Trek, but through YouTube, they all met. And you people are my friends now, which is weird.
We're planning out trips a year ahead of time to try to figure out crazy things to do.
Matt doesn't live that far away, and I've still not met him face to face. He doesn't live that far away. I could be at his house in like 45 minutes, and I've still not gone. But I will at some point, because he's one of my closest friends now, really, which is sad. But
when you spend as much time as you do with people, it happens naturally.
Yeah, and like I say, I cannot wait to go to the States next year and meet you and Stormy. It'll be amazing.
Well, we're gonna give you a hell of a lot better of a West Coast entrance than you had on the East Coast. When you come to the Gulf Coast, I'll make sure I'm down in the Gulf Coast.
Yeah,
those are the two good coasts: Gulf Coast, best coast. Sorry, West Coast people. Yeah. West Coast, fun coast. But East Coast.
Nobody in New York turned up. Nobody. I was expecting the Beatles. I got nothing. So, fuck you, New York.
They were slacking. They were slacking in New York. That's what they done. Exactly.
But we will do something exciting when we finally get the Stargate announcement. And I've got a couple of big things coming up that I know Stargate fans are going to go insane over. And as soon as I've got it confirmed, I've got one live coming up that if it happens, everyone is going to go nuts over. And
you're not like Super Yankee. We still love you.
Yeah, well, no, I love New Yorkers. Just not 8 million of you can fuck off. But the few hundred that actually know, I don't know where you are.
Yeah. The Great Lakes are great. They're like our fourth coast.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got some interesting stuff, possibilities coming up.
Got a lot of fun stuff coming up, both on the YouTubes, out of the YouTubes. There's all kinds of fun things going on, and we're gonna keep y'all posted.
Yeah, I really have to go. So.
Okay, we're rolling this intro/outro. I'm gonna time this right. I'm gonna time it right.